your host, Carolyn Solo, LCSW, EMDR therapist, and mom of 3 daughters. Thank you for joining me.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 124 of the Future Template Parent Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Carolyn Solo, PhD, LCSW, EMDR consultant, EMDR therapist, and business coach for EMDR therapists, and mom of 3 daughters. Today is a little bit of a different episode. I decided I would just take a chunk of a one-to-one consultation session that I did with a EMDR therapist, just to give you a little insight into what it can be like to work with me in a one-on-one capacity. The person that I am working with in this clip is a EMDR therapist who was in the EMDR Intensive 12-week intensive group over the summer. Her name is Lorena, and she's amazing. And we are talking about a couple of clients that she wanted some consultation on. And this is actually a one-to-one session, not within the context of the group. She actually had a couple of one-to-one sessions with me as part of her work in the group. So clinical conversation. Hopefully this gives you some insight and ideas about some of the kind of work that you could be doing with your clients and what it's like to work with me. And if you are interested in one-to-one work with me, please, you can always reach out to me over email or on Instagram at Future Template Parent, and I'm happy to talk to you about ways that we could work together. So I hope you enjoy this clinical conversation with Lorena. And we have taken out, there are some things that are kind of bleeped out in the episode because I wanted to take out any identifying client information. So there's obviously, their names were never shared with me, but certainly like ages and anything else that could possibly identify these clients. So to protect their confidentiality. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Thank you as always for listening, and have a great week, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Hold on. Let me add this one because I did want to talk about this one. Okay, I'll start with my little client. Well, she's not so little. She's like, but so
Pretty
this
little.
is like, yeah. She's one of the younger ones that I work with. But so I've been seeing her for about 6 months, I want to say. I don't see her because of mom's scheduling. It's not like every week.
Mm-hmm.
It's every other week or every 3 weeks, depending. Mom tends to have things and have to reschedule. So it's almost every 3 weeks. But anyway, so she came to me, not for EMDR. She just came because, mom said that school counselor said that she was depressed. She had been having SI and, but no real plans or anything like that. Just more thoughts of like not wanting to live and actual thoughts of like, how would I do it? Right. But never, nothing beyond like, excuse me, I'm still like getting over this thing. Nothing beyond like hurting her, like with a pencil, like trying to like hurt herself. Right. Or like she'll hit like the wall when she's really frustrated. And this is a girl that also has some kind of like learning disability and speech delay. So she's gotten a lot more comfortable and she talks more. But in the beginning, it was pretty tough because I'd have to really try to be paying attention to what she was saying, or trying to really hear her, because the minute I would ask her like, wait, I'm sorry, what? Or can you repeat that? She would get frustrated. Mm-hmm. So it made it pretty hard. And so I had to change kind of like my questions, more like yes, no kind of thing. But so one day she came in and had a lot of anxiety and, told me about this incident with where he was inappropriate. And she still never talks about the details. She never wants to. She says she does remember, but she doesn't want to say it out loud, which is totally fine. Mm-hmm. But that day that she like opened up about that, she wanted to tell her parents. So she did. And I've never had a session like that before. It was very emotional and
wow,
very, she even, like her, what's the word? Like she's just I think my thinking is because of like her learning disability, or she's just more out there. Like she just, when her parents came in and I told parents, she has something that she wants to talk to you about, blah, blah, blah. She got up, she like stood up and it almost like, okay, I'm going to tell you guys. And so she did, and parents were crying and, she ended up crying like in the corner of my office, like on the floor, and dad went to console her and mom. And anyway, so since then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do EMDR with her for that.
Mhm.
And she agreed. I'm not 100% sure that she understood everything, but she agreed to do it. And I thought, it won't hurt, right? And so we did that target. She completed the target. Didn't say a whole lot, but just, got a lot of, more than anything, just like the emotions and the anger out.
Mhm.
Um, but she is still, holding, or still has some anger and a lot of frustration. And I think a lot of it has to do also not just with the incident, but her not being able to communicate, kids at school noticing that and her feeling less than,
Mhm.
a lot of insecurities. So I don't know. I was just wondering, um,
What?
if you've had some, go ahead.
No, no, I got finished. Yeah, sorry.
No,
Finish
like
what you
if you, no,
sorry.
it's okay. Like if you've had someone that, I mean, I think she's understanding everything that I'm saying. But sometimes I'm just not sure because she doesn't
Yeah.
vocalize it as much.
Hmm.
It's not like a full on like back and forth.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, excuse me, um, because it still has come up, right? Just last month, she wanted to bring sister in, her older sister, and tell her as well. And sister came out, and she had gone through, she had been,
Oh
and
boy.
so that was really touching. That was really nice that they were able to come together and share that, right? Um, and so I think that was helpful for her.
Yeah, she felt not so
Um,
alone, I bet.
mhm. And but still some of that anger comes out, and she wants to be able to talk to the uncle at one point in her life and just kind of like s- scream at him, she says, and like just ask him like why did you do this, right? And I'm just wondering, like what you
Well,
would recommend. Yeah.
first of all, when did it happen?
She was like 7.
Has it been reported?
It happened in and they're here now, so no.
Okay, okay. I was going to say because did you report it first of all?
Oh, I would have for sure,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
she has
yeah.
no contact with
Okay,
him.
okay, okay, okay.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I think, anger is a very healthy response to that, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
What still
Mhm.
feels distressing for her about it?
I think, and she seems to be this person that needs a lot of like closure and to let those she loves know. I think
Hmm.
it's not being able to talk to him or
Okay, and so
to express that.
she's not going to get the opportunity.
Well,
Hmm.
but parents are well aware, and so we talked about that. If they ever go, that he cannot come around her, that they cannot allow it. But so she
I mean,
might, she might.
can she do a future like sort of template where she imagines telling him?
Hmm.
Where you kind of play the
Yeah.
movie forward of her confronting him?
Hmm. I haven't done that
That might
actually.
be a really good exercise
Okay.
because she might never get to, I mean, I don't know the circumstances, but it's possible she'll never
Hmm.
get to talk to him. But what if she got to, you know, your
Hmm.
office kind of live out what that could be like,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
when you were saying that she has a speech delay, so this is very interesting to me because my daughter has a speech delay. I mean, like most, she
Hmm.
has communication stuff because she's autistic. And so
Hmm.
communicating verbally in therapy is hard for her. And so, I mean, her therapist specializes in autism, so it's different, but like,
Hmm.
using things like drawing or typing or
Hmm.
writing as ways to communicate that don't require her to talk. Like my daughter can type and write perfectly, beautifully fluently, but speaking
Yeah.
is hard.
Yeah.
So there may be other ways that she can express herself to you if that's feeling frustrating to her.
Hmm.
If the speaking is hard, you know. Like my daughter
I
texts me all the time, which is like great. Yeah.
Oh, I've tried doing that with my brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. I did try to get her to draw.
Yeah.
Beginning, she didn't want to.
Yeah.
I tried to get her to write, and she didn't really want to. The only thing that she has written for me was when she couldn't say it,
Hmm.
this thing with her, she first told me, so she
She,
wrote it out.
okay.
And her
Yeah.
writing is not like an eighth grader's writing. It's more, I would say, gosh, like I don't know, first, second grader. I don't know. I've never been in
Oh,
elementary
so
school.
so she might also have like a learning disability, not just a speech
Yeah,
disability.
and yeah,
Oh,
so I,
okay.
I think she does, and she is no longer in special ed classes. They have her mainstream classes now, but so there is some learning
Okay.
disability.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh, and the and it's more with her tongue, like it's stuck or something like that. Because the mom has the same thing,
Mm.
and the mom has trouble talking too, but not as much.
Mm.
She talks a lot actually. If
What
you
about like, could you use sand with her?
do a century.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea
Do
too.
you know
I'm
the,
not trained in Sandtray
well,
therapy.
neither am I, but I still use it sometimes.
Yeah.
What's the name of the,
Hmm.
let me look up these, there's these great, um, this is an awesome, these people are EMDR and play therapy. These guys, Playful
Hmm.
EMDR.
Hmm.
Um, they're awesome. They have a ton of resources and um, they have trainings and they also have books um,
Hmm.
that are basically, about, and they have self-paced video trainings. Yep.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. And so
Okay, I'll check them
that
out.
could be, yeah. I actually keep wanting to do this myself because even though I don't work with kids very much, I think a lot of the stuff actually is relevant to adults.
Oh,
So yeah, that might be something to look into. They have a couple books as well.
okay. Yeah, I'll
Um,
look into them. Yeah.
because she sounds like she might even be cognitively a little bit young. Yeah.
And that's where I say, I sometimes don't know if she's grasping everything.
Yeah.
Um,
I would look into some of their resources. And Anna
okay.
Gomez, I don't know if you know her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean she does a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stuff with kids. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Do you work with kids too, or you only see
not
adults?
really. I mean, I keep thinking I'm going. It's just one of those things where I think I find the idea of working with the parents to be stressful, but you know, but I don't know. I think
Yeah.
I'm more open to it than I used to be because as a parent, I know the need for good clinicians for work. You know what I mean? Like I understand the need,
Mhm.
so I'm kind of like, well, I don't know. I
Mhm.
might. I think I actually looking up that training reminded me again that is like on my list of trainings. I high up there for
Ah,
the ones that I want to do is that integrating EMDR and play because I think there's actually applications for adults too.
yeah. Mhm.
And because it's all about just like getting out of the intellectualizing, getting into the right brain, getting into that flow state, whatever we can do with that, and play is an amazing way to do
Mhm.
that. So
Mhm.
anyway,
Okay. Yeah, I'll look it up. But yeah, I'll try the future template, and I'll have to, for me to feel comfortable with the Centray. And in the beginning, when I first started practicing, I was learning more about that, but then I just
there's
let
so
it go.
many
I
things,
never, but
right?
I will have to, like, watch some YouTube videos or something
Yeah,
on
sure. Let me just see to whatever.
it.
Duh, 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 duh. There's also, oh yeah, this book. Who's this person? Oh yeah, Anna Gomez has a book about it. That's right. Yeah,
On
EMDR
Centray?
sand tray based therapy. Yep, yep.
Ah, okay, let me look it
And
up.
what's cool is she says healing complex trauma and dissociation across the lifespan. So she talks about using it for not just children, but
Hmm.
also adults. So
What did you say it's called?
called EMDR sand tray based therapy. And it's Anna Gomez.
Ah, there it goes.
Yeah.
Um, EMDR Sam. Okay. Healing complex trauma and dissociation. Oh, okay. 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 Yeah, I'll check that out too. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've always been curious about Santre. I mean, I know it was probably not that complicated, but when something's new, I just have to
Oh,
really feel like I have a good grasp on it.
I mean, sure. It's so hard, right? It's because it's like we want to learn these new skills and we want to do them correctly.
Mm-hmm,
And I
mm-hmm.
think that like it's about like how do you figure out the pieces that you do need to learn and what stuff is probably you kind of have a because I think a lot of it whenever you learn a new modality they're always like they have to start from the beginning, but there's lots of stuff you already it's like not like you need to when you're trained in EMDR you already understand the idea of like a bottom-up modality and things like that.
Yeah.
I think
Mm-hmm.
if you're coming from somewhat like a very CBT background
That's
and
more
Santre is
difficult.
the first kind of non really
Mm.
traditional talk therapy approach, then yeah, I would see why you want to do like the whole thing. But I think most
I
of us
see.
who do EMDR have a good understanding of why is something like Santre useful and different from, talk therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because EMDR is similarly different. Similarly
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
different.
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But it's interesting
So,
because I think that's such an interesting question about like communication challenge, like people who have different communication differences and how do we accommodate them in therapy? I think that's so important
mm-hmm.
to think about, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
therapy is so talk based. And if there are people that have challenges with that, shouldn't they still be able to access therapy?
Yeah, exactly. Right, right, right.
Anyway.
I agree. So I have this other client, and I say had because I stopped seeing her or discharged her a couple of weeks ago.
Hmm.
And really sweet girl, sexual trauma. Um, but every time that we would start a target, and I think it was two different targets that we worked on, and the last one we didn't finish it. She would just become dissociated, I think, just kind of like looking around. And so we would have to work on grounding, and she would just get like really spacey.
Hmm. Hmm.
So she has sexual trauma from the age of like finish or
Oh, wow.
12
Okay. And like
from
consistent.
multiple cousins.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And and she also actually her best friend when she was in kindergarten, she didn't give details, of course, but she was inappropriate to her best friend, thinking that it was normal,
Right.
right? Because she had been
Sure.
with her cousins, like they at different points in her life, like these cousins lived with them. So it was happening
All,
constantly.
yeah.
And so she's got a lot of shame around that. So she might come back. This is why I'm asking about her. But then also because I wanted to ask you if you thought that I made the right call, and maybe I did, maybe I don't know. You can be the judge. But so she did it. So there's a lot of shame. So um, I was gonna want to move on to that, working on that target where she was, I don't know, unintentional perpetrator, I guess you could
Okay.
say, right?
Yep. Yep.
Because she remembers, again, she didn't go into detail, and she never does. She's very vague, right? But her little best friend started crying after whatever happened, and then she just remembers that there were people around him, like her parents or other adults, and she was just like what happened, like, you know. So I was gonna want to work on that target, or I
Mhm.
suggested that to her, and she was just kind of like, she was kind of wanting to do more talk therapy. And the thing is that her therapist sent her to me specifically for EMDR, and I
Right.
had already spoken to her couple weeks prior and just kind of put it out there like, hey, because her mom was paying out of pocket. Not for me, she was, but not for the other therapist because he takes whatever their insurance is. I don't because I'm still not fully licensed.
Right.
So, and I just felt bad. I said, because I said, okay, so you're doing EMDR with me, but I really feel like, it's a disservice if if we're not doing EMDR therapy and on top of that, your mom is paying,
Yeah.
they don't come from a lot of money at all, right? But the mom is making that sacrifice. They're not like loaded at all, at all,
Right.
So I just put it out there. I said, so if you wanna go back to EMDR, because it had been like several, just kind of more talk therapy. And I was like, that's what you have Jose for, right? But she feels more comfortable with me.
Mm.
So then what I ended up suggesting, and so but he's male, and I
Right.
said, well, and her parents are divorced. Her dad is a deadbeat, according to her, and so she doesn't have any male role models, any positive male role models. And so I thought, yeah, I told her, I think it's good that you're with Jose because he represents that for you. I
Yeah,
said,
sure.
but it's your choice, right? I said, you have the option of staying with him and seeing me for EMDR, but we got, basically we got to get on some EMDR, to help you, because I know that the shift that it can make in you, right? Like, we know that, but when they're like hesitant or
Right.
resistant, it's really hard, right? And again, there was like some dissociation there. So it wasn't just like, I don't want to work on it. She would always say, I want to, but
Yeah.
and so we talk
Well,
about parts, like, what part of you, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I think that's what you need to do first is you're gonna
Uh-huh.
like do some parts work with her. And I would
Uh-huh.
again recommend like Anna Gomez's stuff on dissociation with children working
Uh-huh.
because she's got those books that I can't remember the
Mm-hmm.
name of it now, but like basically she has an entire book on
Mm-hmm.
preparing dissociative children for EMDR, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
because you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna need to do some pretty like it sounds like I'm not surprised that she's severely dissociative with that level of like sexual abuse, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
during
Excuse
like
me.
years. So you're gonna have to get consent from those younger parts to process
Mm-hmm.
this stuff, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
have to get to know them first, develop
Mm-hmm.
relationships with them, and help them feel like you're a safe person
Mm-hmm.
and that processing these memories is safe, right? So, um, you know how there's in the module 4 of the course that you guys did with me, there's the stuff about dissociation. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I talk about the conference table there, it's very much geared out like this is how I would do it with an adult. But
Mm-hmm.
and so, she's not young, but she's still young. Like I think I would look at some of Anna Gomez's stuff and just kind of think of how you can kind of make that a little bit more child friendly. But
Mm-hmm.
you are trying to get to know these different parts of her, introduce her to them because she's probably not even aware like that that's a thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying, she's obviously very dissociative. She like is vague, she kind of drifts off. Yeah, of course. So
Mm-hmm.
there's parts of her who are very resistant, very scared to go there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got to work with them first and
Mm-hmm.
create. Remember the developmental needs meeting strategy stuff? Do you remember that? The DNMS stuff. I think it was in module 6 of the
Oh, I'm not recalling that right now.
that could be really good where you like create safe places for the young parts, create like a fun place for them to play, and you
Oh,
create like a
yes,
team
yes,
out.
yes. Uh-huh.
Like that might be really good to do with her as
Mm-hmm.
well. But really,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to do some like ego states work with her
Mm-hmm.
first
Mm-hmm.
because those parts are
Uh,
not gonna consent to process this stuff.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But Anna Gomez has really beautiful stuff about how to talk to kids about parts, how to
Uh-huh.
like work with parts in younger people. So I
Okay.
would look at those resources and I would start there before you start doing any official because if she dissociates, you're not going to get anywhere with the processing, right? Like it's not going to go anywhere.
Uh-huh.
So
Mm-hmm.
you got
Yeah.
to do the parts work first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think it went a little backwards because I didn't notice that she was dissociating until once we started.
Which
So,
happens. Sometimes that's how
and
you
then
know.
that's when I brought parts
Right.
work in. So I didn't
Right.
do like the pre.
That's
So
okay.
how would I, should I give everyone in the beginning like the dissociation scale
I mean,
questionnaire?
you can. What I usually do is I usually ask a few questions from it during my assessment just to see what kind of reaction I get from people because that gives me
Mm-hmm.
information about do I need to ask more questions or like I'll usually ask I'll be like, do you ever, realize like do you ever realize that you like miss big chunks of your day and don't know what happened in them? People that aren't dissociative will be like, no. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But people who are will be like, oh, maybe, yeah, kind of. So like you'll get a quickly you'll find out if you need to ask more questions. So I usually ask a few just to get a
Mm-hmm.
sense of
Mm,
do I need to do more digging? And maybe I don't. And even still, even when you think you've screened well, sometimes it still comes up in phase 4, and that's when you find out. It's not the end of the world, you
mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah. And that's
But
when I started. Yeah.
yeah, but
Um,
obviously you did the right thing, and she didn't like you didn't damage her. You just,
mhm.
you
She
know,
loved it actually when we started doing parts. She was like,
good.
"Oh, okay."
Then you
But
should go. That would be where I would go first, for sure.
so what I ended up telling her is, you, I'm gonna get, hopefully, if I pass my exam, I will take your insurance the beginning of January. I said, in the meantime, why don't you think about if you want to stay with Jose for talk therapy and see me for EMDR, and let's get going with that. Or if you would like to just switch to me completely.
Yeah.
Um, and so she said, okay, and she's a pretty mature. Um, so she agreed, and so so we're taking a break right now.
I think that's a good
Yeah.
idea because then if she does want to terminate with him, she has some time to do
Mm-hmm.
that. It's not like an abrupt transition.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, okay, because I felt like, oh, I hope she's not feeling like I'm not trying to get rid of her. She's
Oh
actually,
no.
I really enjoyed doing sessions with her. She's a really sweet girl, like I said, and I really want to be able to, move her forward.
And how amazing if she could do this at this stage of her life instead of like in 20 years. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
how much this could impact her trajectory really positively.
Mm-hmm.
Resolve
Mm-hmm.
some of this stuff now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Because we know how it's harder. It's harder when women are, you know, older and they've been carrying this and yeah.
And she might repeat some of these, she might get into situations where these things get repeated. And if we could prevent
Mm-hmm.
that for her, that would be,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
I have
No.
clients, I know, I'm sure you do too, who as adults get into very dangerous
Mm-hmm.
situations because they have this history of abuse and that's just what they know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if
Mm-hmm.
we could help her not go down that road, that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.